Hey guys, Eddie Wilson here with the Think Realty podcast. I'm so glad you joined us today. We've got an awesome show, one of my closest friends in the industry, and a mover and shaker for sure. But I get to co-host alongside of my other good friend, Abhi Golhar. And I appreciate you letting me come in on your space, you know?
I mean, at this point,
Making room for me.
It's an Abhi sandwich.
Weird.
You know what? I'm just calling it for what it is. It's an Abhi sandwich. You're going to find out why in a second.
I don't know where this is going. Why don't you get to the sponsor and we'll avoid this whole conversation?
I'm not going to let it go. RentToRetirement.com does 20% return on investing in turnkey single-family rentals. Sound attractive? If it does, check it out. Go to RentToRetirement.com. They offer fully turnkey properties that are newly built or renovated, leased and managed, allowing you to invest with confidence out of state. They're in 15 markets, and they maximize for cash flow, appreciation, and equity. www.renttoretirement.com. Think Realty Nation, it's going to be a fun show. To my left, we have Jeff Tesch, the CEO of RCN Capital, and now you know why. It's an Abhi sandwich today. I'm not proud of it. Eddie's not proud of it. But Jeff is proud of it.
Just glad to be here. Just glad.
So let's kick it off. RCN Capital has been a leader in the lending space for many years. You have what most would say a crystal ball, when me, a lending pleb, only has a what did I call it?
Snow globe.
A snow globe.
Yeah.
And I shake it every now and then, and sometimes it comes out to be a relatively decent strategy. But that's why you're here today. We're going to be asking you a couple tough questions. Eddie is known as Tough Question Eddie, and Tough Question Eddie.
He thinks that I should ask all the tough questions and he gets all the easy ones.
Absolutely.
That's why he's in the middle.
Yeah. I don't know how we got stuck doing it this way.
I've got a couple tough questions.
Anyway, so I don't know that it's a tough question. It's probably just a question that you're getting asked all the time, right? Which is regarding if I'm a real estate investor and I'm partnering with my lender, right? And I know that you guys are big on partnerships, relational, positions in real estate. How do I manage a real estate investor? How do I manage the movement of the market where I'm looking at rental properties and, 3 or 4% interest rate made sense. Now 5 or 6% doesn't make sense, and and all this kind of constant movement. How are you managing that within the relationships that you guys have built with RCN and all these real estate investors?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. And relationships are the key to the business, right? Yeah. So, as you mentioned, we've been around a while. We started the company in 2010, literally in a closet that was maybe 100 square feet, right? 2 computers and an idea to professionalize hard money. Stop making it hard money and turn it into a real commercial product.
Sure, yep.
My background actually was not lending. My background was real estate investing, and I owned restaurants. So that 2 sides to it made me always think about the customer. And I don't need the customer once. I need them over and over and over again. So when you're talking about building out a business, especially in mortgage financing, you need to really put yourself in that investor's shoes, is what it comes down to. When you put yourself in that investor's shoes, what are their concerns? Can I get a term sheet? Can I get quoted a real price? Can I close on time? All of these things are how we built the company, but in a fluctuating, to your point, in a fluctuating interest rate environment, there's really one word that nails it, and it's transparency. Yeah. You have to be transparent with the customer. You must be. And when you tell them a rate is not locked until this date, whether it be post underwriting or post appraisal, whatever the benchmark is for that lender, it's critical that the customer understands that, because it could vary the amount of money that they have to put down, what their debt to income ratio is going to be. In investment properties, it would be property debt to income. But that's really what it comes down to, Eddie. Transparency.
Yeah.
Over and over again.
Yeah, makes sense. I know a lot of private money lenders out there are even doing away with locks right now because they can't manage it. Are you guys still trying to keep a short window on that, or like what? How are you dealing with that? Because I mean, you might get a call, and the capital markets have risen. And I'm sure that's a day-by-day situation right now.
Right. So just for the investors today, right? The way it works is we're a lender. We lend with our own money. Now that works for the bridge business, right? We lend with our own money. We portfolio the loans. We service your loans. We send out the inspectors to do your fix and flips, and that's all great. We lock. It's our money. We lock it in, right? When you're talking about 30-year debt on an income-producing property, most of that money is being controlled by teachers' retirements, insurance companies, real estate investment trusts. These are large organizations that want to lock in rates for long periods of time, which is great. It's very good for the investment space. However, in the fluctuating rent environment that we're in today, Chairman Powell has been on multiple times saying, this is what's coming. This is, well, folks, it's here.
It's here.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah,
Right.
finally.
And the marketplace isn't quite sure what to make of it. So for us as a lender, we need to lock in a rate at some point of time, but we can't lock it in when you put your application in. We can't even lock it in when it goes to underwriting. We can't really lock it in until it comes out of underwriting and we go to commitment. That's where we are today. And it's unfortunate, but in the capital markets, there is no certainty right now. I will say this though, and the investor should be very happy to hear this. The demand for the long-term investment paper secured by the single family home, arguably the most exclusive investment in the world. The single family home, 4 to 6% forever, every year. It is the most secure asset.
Yeah.
That demand for that paper has not gone away.
Yeah.
What has gone away is the certainty of pricing.
Interesting.
Yeah, I've been talking with a lot of borrowers lately, and they're having the same issues where I'm kind of almost at closing, and now I'm at 5.5, or I'm at whatever, and their money's gone hard.
Yeah.
Earnest money's gone hard, and if the numbers don't add up and they don't have the extra cash to come to the table with, the deal either dies or they have to find a financial partner. It increases all of the logistics that they then have to go figure out just to make a deal work.
Sure.
If I'm watching this as a potential borrower, is there any strategy there that you recommend on the pricing side, on the lead source side for that borrower so they feel a little more comfort going into a closing timeline with a lender like RCN?
Yeah, so what you want to do is you want to be dealing with a lender that is a direct lender. And the direct lenders are going to have a much better handle on what their capital is today and what it's going to be tomorrow. Now, with that said, it is a very volatile time right now. It is a very volatile time. And even at RCN, we have been taken aback by the rapid increase in interest rates. And team, let me just put it out there. Your lender can't close a loan that they can't sell because lenders can't portfolio these loans for 30 years.
Right.
They'd put them out of business. So that's where the certainty of pricing comes in. So if you work with a direct lender, they're going to have a much better handle on what the capital markets are doing because they have real teams in the pits every day. I mean, at least we do. That's how we operate.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. And there are a lot of brokers out there too that will, I know a lot of them in Atlanta. They are losing customers because they are not direct lenders.
Right. They're
They're losing customers because they can't react as quickly, and the information that they're disseminating to their borrowers is coming, say, from an RCN or it's coming from a direct lender, and it's just too late.
Right. And I'll say this about brokers. All brokers are not created equal, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like anybody
Absolutely
in any line of work
Yes.
In capitalism.
Yeah.
The brokers who are in close contact with their lenders and the brokers who are talking to their lenders every day are doing a great job. But the brokers who are, maybe just letting things slide and not staying in close contact with their lenders, that's where trouble arises.
And it seems like it's the brokers that are doing a lot of the rate shopping and trying to keep their eggs spread everywhere are the ones that are really in danger because they're trying to manage like, well, this guy said this and this guy said this, and then they're trying to promise it to the end borrower, and they got too many irons in the fire. It seems like the brokers that have, are out on behalf of an RCN or other direct lenders seem to be a little bit stronger in that area.
Without a doubt. And RCN, we've built our business on third-party origination.
Sure.
We have an army of brokers out there that are just outstanding. I mean, they're just amazing. But I don't want to toot our own horn, but we spend the time to teach them how that they should be handling the customer.
Yeah.
We teach the way you should be communicating with your customer, and we provide the tools, not only human resources, but also software, so that they can give their customers updates on a regular basis. And those are the brokers that succeed. Those are the brokers that we like to work with.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No.
Yeah, very good. Well, let me ask you maybe a little bit different topic. I mean, obviously, we've talked about rate movement and the market changing, but let me go to a topic that I know you're really well versed in, and it's one that I bring up with you all the time. And that is building company culture. I know that a lot of our real estate investors, they want security, and they want security in the partnerships that they have. And I think one of the greatest, whether you know it, and I know you do, know it or not, is that the culture you're building at RCN among your people is probably one of the greatest opportunities of security for them, because you're keeping your people for long periods of time. You're not seeing a lot of movement. You're not seeing clients jump away. Do you mind talking just about some of the cultural things that you do at RCN to build a culture that then gives the end borrower security?
And maybe talk about Howard.
Howard, yeah. I like Howard too.
Howard the llama. So, listen, some of this goes back to the way I grew my previous life. We started RCN in 2010, but before that, as I mentioned, I owned restaurants, right? So in the restaurant world, there's a great deal of turnover. So I had to figure out a way to keep those employees. And it goes back to being treated the way you would want to be treated if you were doing that role. And folks, this isn't complicated. Put yourself back to your 16-year-old self, and you're just getting your first job, and how would you want to be treated when you join that company? Would you want to be treated like an adult? Would you want to be talked to as if your ideas mattered, as if the thoughts that you have actually make a difference? And I've taken that and moved it over to RCN, and I try to interview. We're over 200 employees now, but I still try to interview almost every employee. And most of it is, I like to spend a little time sharing how we built the company. But most importantly, I like to share with them, if they come aboard, what's most important to me and my management team is, I need you to come in with a fresh set of eyes and tell us ways that we can be better. That's a cultural thing. Like, all the fun stuff about RCN, right? All the fun stuff. We have a cafeteria, and we have a petting zoo that you mentioned. And we just came back from a retreat where we literally took every employee that wanted to come on a long weekend in Florida, which was just amazing. We got to meet family. That's the fun stuff. But where the rubber meets the road is taking the employees' thoughts and ideas and ways that they're seeing their daily tasks really interact with other areas of the company and valuing that. That, to me, is how you build a company.
Yeah, and you can even create, and you start moving that into product and using a little tech behind that. It changes the game, and your borrowers, your brokers, then have a really unique experience. Guess where they're not going? Anywhere else.
Yeah. I love that, and I think that's what really sets you apart. I mean, obviously, I think RCN's a great lender, but in this day and age where everybody's shopping rate and everybody's moving and everybody's trying somebody new, I think it's why you guys have stood the test of time, and I think that's a huge credit to your leadership style, because I know your employees and I know how they feel about RCN, and I know how they're raving fans, and I think that is missed oftentimes. Oftentimes we're just talking about how does this impact the real estate investor, or how does this impact the marketplace. I think sometimes we miss that, like in turbulent times like this, culture sets this pinnacle of business development, in place, and then these people that stay, ultimately build long-lasting systems that, in the end, come to the end borrower and they get a way better experience, and they go, oh, I don't know why I like RCN. Well, I think a lot of it has to do with that, and I love that, and I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Yeah, and especially when rates get volatile or whatever, the pandemic.
Yeah.
There's something reassuring about being able to get on the phone and call the same person.
Yeah.
It's not somebody different. It's the same person. It goes a long way.
One other thing
that's fair.
I'll add, and leave it open for Avi for a question, but is I also like how accessible you are. I mean, you're one of the top 2 or 3 lenders in the nation right now, and yet I still see you at every show. We're at a Think Realty show right now, and you're going to be there tomorrow speaking and hanging out with people, going out to dinners, and you're just so accessible at all these conferences, and I think it says a lot about RCN, and I wish that more people in our industry wouldn't graduate to this big dog status of talk to my 6 levels of secretaries and then maybe I'll get to you, right? I love that you're accessible, because that's what, to me, real estate and even private finance is. It's accessibility. We're building dreams together, and I love that,
Yeah, and especially from an investor standpoint, the investor should have the ability, if they, obviously I can't be everywhere, but at some point, if you want to find me at a conference, you're going to find me. And you're going to be able to sit down and talk to me about your challenges, your successes, and maybe give me some ideas on how I can do things better.
Yeah.
If I'm in my office back in Connecticut, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Never going to happen.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If there's a broker watching this and they're like, hey, I want to send some deals over to RCN. We've got about 30 seconds before we've got to cap off the show. How do they get in touch?
So there's 2 ways. You can go to info@rcncapital.com. That's capital with an A. And I'm even going to put it out there. You can reach out to me directly. Tesch, Tesch @rcncapital.com. I'll put you in touch with the team that not only is going to put you in touch with your contact, they'll put you in touch with training, everything to help you build your business. Investors, same way goes.
And as a borrower too, one of the reasons why I'm automatically drawn to RCN is the data, the analytics, and if I'm doing something wrong in my underwriting, if I'm just doing something wrong in my process as a borrower, for example, you'll actually help me understand, hey, you're screwing up here, 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 and here, and you're too short to do that. Right? You can't do that deal. You're just not tall enough. And I appreciate that honest feedback, which is really hard to get from other lenders. It's difficult. So thanks for being you, man.
I appreciate it. And at the end of the day, we want the investor to succeed. I need you to buy more properties. The only way you buy more properties is if you make money. And we're going to help you do that.
Yeah, love that.
Excellent.
It's awesome.
Thank you, Realty Nation. That's the show. If you have any questions for Jeff or his team at RCN Capital, give them a shout. Go to rcncapital.com. That's capital with an A, not an O, right? rcncapital.com. We cannot do this podcast without the help of our sponsors. Today's sponsor is renttoretirement.com. If you're interested in a 20% return on investing in turnkey rentals, renttoretirement.com is for you. They offer full turnkey properties that are newly built or renovated, leased and managed, allowing you to invest with confidence out of state. They're across 15 markets. I don't know why I keep saying 18. They're probably going to be at 18 at some point in time. They're maximizing on cash flow appreciation and equity. Again, that's renttoretirement.com. If you have any questions for us, check us out at thinkrealty.com/podcast. Eddie's Instagram is lit. My Instagram is kind of lit, and Jeff's is awesome as well. What's your Instagram handle?
Oh,
RCN
no.
Capital?
No.
No, really?
He's a LinkedIn guy.
Not me. You can easily go to RCN Capital.
That's the one. RCN Capital on Instagram, and that's the show.